we want to be innovative, we want innovators to thrive, but not in illegality. So lawfulness, first principle. Second, beyond the law, the development of the technology should be ethically based. Not all what is good and necessary in a society can be put into laws. The law is the strongest sword you need it to be able to enforce, but there are other things which go beyond, and that's ethics. And third, we want this technology to be robust, namely to perform as intended. And what Windsurf said, that's also not small fry, because the more complex the technology gets, the more able it gets, the more there will be issues of robustness. And one of the great scientists, and of which you have many here in Harvard, Iyad Ravan from the MIT, has just published a paper in Nature, together with a number of colleagues, where he says, and this again for me an example of how we can learn from America, where he says the most important thing on AI will be continuous control of the systems which we have put in place. Because we must follow them to see how they learn and how they mutate, how they behave. To be able to learn about what we have done wrong and how to correct. So as a principle of responsibility, and one could say principle of precaution, we are putting a technology into the world which is extremely powerful, which will learn, which will mutate one way or the other, and we want it to do this. That is the whole efficiency gain. But then we also have to follow it, like we follow our medicine. When we put a medicine out there, we follow its effects on humans, and if we see that after all we were wrong in the effects, the classic case, too many people dying after all, after having taken the great medicine which was promised to be the great cure, it must be taken off the market, or it must be amended in terms of the mix. So these are the three basic principles: lawfulness, robustness, and ethic orientation. And then the group, and now the European Commission, has further developed these principles into 7 more operational rules. The first is that AI should stand under human agency and human oversight, so the human in the loop. And this is not only the turn-off button, the emergency turn-off button, but if I can come back to the GDPR, where we have an article on automated decision-making, human dignity as a fundamental right requires that people have the possibility to say no to automated decision-making related to them when this automated decision-making touches their fundamental rights. Why? Because if we follow our conception of the human being as laid out in the Bible, as laid out in human enlightenment, in the Enlightenment movement, and laid out in our constitutions, we cannot imagine humans as subjects to become objects of technology. Objects of technology where technology controls them and decides over their fate. It may be efficient to do it, to control people through technology, but it is not the picture of the human being who is responsible and who acts and who has freedom and participates in democracy as the decider that the state or private parties take decisions over the individual in an automated way.